The man Jenny may need more than anyone else right now is also the man who hid nearly $20,000 in debt from her. That is the contradiction at the center of this entire story. Jenny has confirmed that she is living with ALS. She has also pushed back against exaggerated reports claiming she is bedridden or completely helpless. She can still walk, speak, and manage parts of her routine. But her speech has slowed, she needs more support, and traveling has become a serious concern. That means Sumit is no longer only her husband. He may become the person helping with appointments, transportation, paperwork, finances, travel, and daily care. But how do you place that much trust in someone who recently decided you did not need to know how deeply your household was in debt? That is why this is bigger than a health update. It is bigger than a visa application. And it is definitely bigger than another argument with Sumit's parents. Jenny and Sumit are being forced to answer a question their relationship has avoided for years. Can real love survive without complete honesty? Because Sumit's support appears genuine. His concern for Jenny appears real. But devotion does not erase deception. And Jenny's diagnosis may create the exact situation she has feared throughout this marriage. She could become more dependent on Sumit at the same moment she has the strongest reason to question his decisions. There is another uncomfortable layer here. After viewers spent years watching this couple's private life become television, they are now being asked to care about what happens after the cameras stop. Some fans are offering sympathy. Others are questioning the fundraiser. And another section of the audience believes TLC should step forward after profiting from Jenny and Sumit's story for so long. But before judging anyone, we need to separate three things that are being mixed together online. The episode conflict, Jenny's current health update, and the dramatic headlines exaggerating what has actually been confirmed. Because once those timelines are separated, the real relationship problem becomes impossible to ignore. The arguments shown on The Last Resort were filmed before Jenny publicly discussed her diagnosis. That matters. Jenny and Sumit were fighting about housing, money, family pressure, and control without fully understanding what their next chapter would become. Viewers now have information the couple did not appear to have during filming. So every old disagreement suddenly feels heavier. A fight about rent is no longer just a fight about rent. It connects to future medical costs. A disagreement about leaving Sumit's parents' home is no longer only about privacy. It connects to whether they may need family support. And Sumit's hidden loans are no longer just another messy reality television confession. They raise serious questions about who controls the information Jenny needs to make decisions about her own life. During the season, Sumit admitted borrowing somewhere between $15,000 and $20,000. His explanation was that his parents had originally agreed to help with rent. When that support stopped, he began taking loans to keep the household functioning. Jenny did not know the full amount. And that detail is where the entire argument changes. The problem was not only that they owed money. The problem was that Jenny had been living inside a financial reality she did not understand because Sumit chose not to tell her. She believed living with his family was supposed to reduce pressure. Instead, she lost privacy, remained responsible for housing costs, and discovered that debt had been growing behind her back. From Jenny's perspective, she was making sacrifices without receiving the full story. That is why her reaction was so emotional. She was not simply saying, "You borrowed too much." She was saying, "You made a life-changing decision for both of us and removed me from the conversation." And Sumit's response made the situation worse. His reasoning appeared to be that Jenny would not understand why he did it. That sounds protective on the surface, but it reveals a troubling belief underneath. Sumit often seems to think that if Jenny will react badly, he has permission to delay the truth. That pattern is not new. When Sumit expects anger, disappointment, or conflict, he avoids the conversation. He tries handling the problem alone. He keeps information hidden. Then, he hopes the situation will somehow improve before Jenny finds out. But it never improves. It gets larger. And when the truth finally comes out, Jenny is not only angry about the original problem. She is angry because Sumit decided she was not capable of participating. That is a very different kind of betrayal. This relationship began with delayed truth. Sumit initially presented himself online using a false identity. Later, Jenny discovered that he had entered an arranged marriage. Again and again, important information reached Jenny only after it had become impossible to hide. The subject changes. The pattern does not. Sumit expects conflict. He hides the truth. He tries solving the situation privately. The situation collapses. Jenny discovers everything. She explodes. Sumit apologizes and says he was scared. Then their emotional connection pulls them back together. That cycle has survived family rejection, financial problems, business failures, cultural conflict, and years of public criticism. But a medical crisis makes that pattern much more dangerous. You cannot manage healthcare through delayed truth. You cannot plan international travel through partial information. You cannot handle debt, insurance, housing, and caregiving while one spouse quietly decides what the other person can emotionally handle. Sumit may believe he is protecting Jenny from stress, but protection without transparency can become control. The moment one spouse starts filtering reality for the other spouse, the relationship stops functioning as an equal partnership. Jenny might become angry. She might reject Sumit's plan. She might react emotionally. But those possibilities do not remove her right to know. The $20,000 debt is therefore not just a money problem. It exposes a decision-making problem. Sumit still appears to believe that solving everything alone makes him responsible. But real responsibility sometimes means admitting that you do not have the answer. It means saying, "We are in trouble, and we need to decide what happens together." That is especially important because Jenny's deepest fear may not be illness alone. It may be losing control of her own life. Jenny left California and rebuilt her life in India. She became dependent on Sumit in a country where she did not have the same support system, cultural familiarity, or family network. She endured years of rejection from his parents. She repeatedly fought for privacy. She wanted a home where she could stop feeling like an unwanted guest. She wanted her marriage to feel like the main relationship in Sumit's life. And now her health could increase the exact dependence she spent years trying to escape. She may need more help with daily tasks. She may need assistance during travel. She may need someone handling appointments, transportation, documents, and medical planning. But needing help does not mean losing authority. That distinction is extremely important. Jenny and Sumit have already corrected reports portraying her as completely incapacitated. They have said she can still walk and speak. They have rejected the idea that she is lying in a hospital bed and unable to do anything for herself. That correction protects more than factual accuracy. It protects Jenny's dignity. There is a major difference between saying someone has a serious diagnosis and presenting that person as if their identity has already disappeared. Jenny is still making decisions. She is still speaking publicly. She is still trying to control how her own story is told. She should not become a symbol of tragedy before she has even finished explaining her reality. And this is where online coverage can become cruel. The most dramatic version of the story gets the most attention. A careful update becomes, Jenny cannot function. A visa process becomes, the government has rejected Sumit. A difficult travel situation becomes, Jenny is trapped forever. Those headlines may create clicks, but they also remove Jenny's voice from her own story. The truth is serious enough without making it worse. Sumit's visa process has reportedly been underway. That does not mean approval is guaranteed. But it also does not mean he has received an official rejection. The accurate story is that Jenny may need assistance during a long trip, and Sumit is trying to create a legal path allowing him to accompany her. That is already a major challenge. There is no need to invent a final decision that has not been confirmed. And while Sumit deserves criticism for the debt, his current position also deserves sympathy. He appears genuinely worried about Jenny. His recent statements emphasize that he wants to remain beside her. He may be preparing for increasing caregiving responsibilities while also dealing with unemployment, major loans, immigration uncertainty, and pressure from his family. That is an overwhelming situation. Sumit has spent years trying to satisfy 3 competing roles. He is Jenny's husband. He is his parent son. And he sees himself as the person expected to solve every practical problem. Those roles constantly collide. Jenny believes marriage should become the primary unit. Sumit often behaves as though marriage must remain connected to the larger family system. When Jenny wants privacy, he feels pulled toward his parents. When his parents need support, he feels obligated. When money becomes tight, he attempts to satisfy everyone without admitting that the arrangement is no longer working. The hidden loans may have come from desperation. There is no confirmed evidence that Sumit borrowed the money for luxury or personal pleasure. He may have used it to keep the household stable. He may have thought he was preventing a bigger crisis. But intention does not erase impact. If a person secretly borrows thousands of dollars while unemployed, their spouse inherits the risk without approving the decision. That is financial secrecy. And now, that secrecy sits beside a serious medical situation. Jenny and Sumit need clear answers. How much debt remains? What income do they currently have? What will travel cost? Where would they stay in the United States? What help could Jenny receive there? What help is available in India? How will caregiving affect Sumit's ability to work? And if public donations are involved, how will that money be managed? Those questions cannot be answered through vague promises. This couple has reached the point where love must become a plan. And that is where the story becomes more complicated than a simple hero and villain edit. Sumit may be showing extraordinary devotion while still repeating the behavior that damaged Jenny's trust. Both things can be true. He can love her and make dangerous financial choices. Jenny can deserve sympathy while still having communication habits that make difficult conversations harder. Sumit's parents can create emotional pressure while also becoming useful sources of practical help. A serious crisis can bring a couple closer without curing the dysfunction already inside the marriage. Reality television usually wants a simple answer. Who is wrong? Who is lying? Who should leave? But Jenny and Sumit do not fit neatly into those categories. Their relationship has always survived inside contradictions. Jenny left everything for a man who originally lied about his identity. Sumit repeatedly chose Jenny while remaining emotionally tied to the approval of his parents. They fought for years to marry, then struggled with what married life actually required. Now, the biggest contradiction is this. Sumit may be the person Jenny trusts emotionally more than anyone else. But financially, he has given her reasons not to trust him. That is why caregiving does not automatically settle this argument. Crisis can reveal love. It cannot automatically repair trust. When someone becomes seriously ill, many smaller conflicts lose importance. Arguments about household chores, in-laws, or old resentment may suddenly feel pointless. A partner may become more patient, more protective, more emotionally present. But unhealthy habits do not disappear simply because the stakes increase. Sumit helping Jenny does not erase the loans. Jenny appreciating his care does not mean she is comfortable with the secrecy. Their love can be genuine. Their trust problem can also be genuine. The future of this marriage may depend on whether Sumit understands that caregiving is not only physical. It is not just opening bottles, driving to appointments, or helping during travel. Caregiving also means giving the other person honest information. It means respecting their decisions. It means helping without taking control. Jenny needs truthful updates, even when the truth is frightening. She needs to participate in every major financial choice. She needs realistic information about the visa process. And she needs support that does not make her feel invisible. This is exactly why fans are so divided. Many viewers have expressed real sadness and compassion. Some fans feel Sumit's current behavior proves his love has always been genuine. They point to his concern, his determination to stay beside Jenny, and the fact that he has remained committed despite years of conflict. For those viewers, this crisis changes how they look at Sumit. They may have questioned his motives before. Now they see a husband preparing to face an incredibly difficult chapter, and there is truth in that perspective. Commitment is often proven during painful moments, not romantic ones. But another section of the audience believes Sumit is receiving too much praise for doing what a spouse should do. Those viewers remain focused on the debt. They argue that becoming a caregiver should not erase financial accountability. In fact, they believe Jenny's increased dependence makes Sumit's lack of transparency more concerning. That reaction also has a valid point. Being loyal during a crisis does not create automatic forgiveness for every decision that came before it. Then there is the fundraiser. Some fans see donating as an act of compassion. They see a couple facing illness, uncertain travel, financial instability, and changing care needs. They believe old television arguments should not determine whether Jenny receives help. Other viewers are skeptical. Some ask where the money will go. Some question why the couple does not appear to have stronger savings after years on television. Others connect the fundraiser directly to Sumit's hidden loans and wonder whether donations could indirectly cover debt Jenny never approved. Those questions should not automatically be dismissed as hate. Public fundraising creates a reasonable expectation of financial clarity. Transparency protects donors. It can also protect Jenny and Sumit from rumors. But there must be a line. Questioning how funds will be managed is different from attacking Jenny's diagnosis. And some online reactions have crossed that line. A heavily edited television argument is not proof that someone deserves less compassion. Reality television shows selected behavior. It does not provide a complete moral history of a human being. Fans have seen Jenny become angry. They have watched Sumit lie. They have watched both of them make choices people disagree with. None of that changes the seriousness of Jenny's current health situation. Another major fan debate focuses on TLC. Some viewers feel the network should contribute toward Jenny's care. Their reasoning is easy to understand. Jenny and Sumit have given this franchise years of content. Their relationship generated episodes, ratings, online attention, advertising, and constant discussion. The audience watched their courtship, family rejection, secret marriage problems, wedding, business struggles, and couples therapy. So, a section of the audience believes the network has a moral responsibility to offer support. That is a fair debate, but it must remain a debate. There is no confirmed proof that TLC has refused to help. There is no confirmed proof that the network is planning to film Jenny's illness. And we do not know the details of their private contracts, compensation, insurance, or conversations with production. The stronger question is not, did TLC abandon Jenny? The stronger question is, what responsibility should a reality television company have toward longtime cast members during a major crisis? Should cast members receive better medical support? Should production companies create emergency funds? Should networks help promote verified fundraisers? Should someone facing serious illness have complete control over whether filming continues? And if cameras return, should the couple receive stronger privacy protections? These questions go far beyond Jenny and Sumit. Reality television turns private pain into public entertainment. That creates a strange relationship between the audience and the people on screen. Viewers feel close to cast members they have never met. They remember their arguments. They know their relatives. They recognize the homes where major scenes occurred. That connection can create genuine empathy, but it can also create entitlement. Some viewers begin believing they deserve every medical detail. They demand constant updates. They ask for proof of every expense. They treat a real person's health like another episode mystery waiting for a reveal. Jenny should not have to perform helplessness to receive sympathy. She should not have to appear strong every day to prove she has dignity. And she should not be forced to defend every old relationship mistake before people believe she deserves care. At the same time, asking the public for financial support naturally brings more attention. That is the difficult balance. Jenny and Sumit may need to provide enough information to maintain trust, but they also deserve boundaries. The public may contribute to their care. That does not mean the public owns Jenny's private experience. And then we have Sumit's family. For years, Jenny wanted distance from his parents. Their home represented judgment, tension, and a lack of privacy. Moving out seemed like the clearest way to protect the marriage. But the health situation complicates everything. Caregiving can be exhausting. Sumit may eventually need help from relatives, medical professionals, or Jenny's family. The same household that made Jenny feel restricted could become a practical support system. That creates one of the hardest questions in the story. Could Sumit's family become both the problem and the solution? Living with them may reduce Jenny's privacy, but leaving may remove people who could help with transportation, meals, household responsibilities, or giving Sumit a break. Jenny may need support from people who have not always made her feel welcome, and Sumit may become even more dependent on his parents while trying to prove that his wife comes first. That pressure could reopen every old conflict. Will his parents truly support Jenny? Will resentment return when caregiving becomes difficult? Will Sumit once again avoid confronting his family? And will Jenny accept assistance, if that assistance comes with conditions?